Hello, you're listening to the audio version of Parkrun magazine. Thanks so much for joining us. This audio mag is a place to find out more about leading a happier and healthier lifestyle, as well as hearing from the communities and people at the heart of parkrun events across the United Kingdom. Welcome to Series 5. Thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of the 5th series of the audio version of the Parkrun magazine. We'll be sharing some of the stories from issue 5 of the printed edition, which was originally published in April 2024. Coming up on this episode, we'll take a trip to Wardown Park in Luton, meet a mother and son duo who love to use parkrun as their weekly catch-up, and focus on how small changes to lifestyle can have a huge impact with 5 key tips to help your new habits stick. Now, let's kick off with some words of welcome from Kirsty Woodbridge, Parkrun's Global Head of Communications. Her words are spoken by an actor.
It's Parkrun's 20th anniversary this year, and what an incredible journey we've been on. Parkrun has grown from a handful of people getting together in a park to a global movement of millions. This is a really important year for Parkrun. We're celebrating 2 decades of social impact. Thousands of young people take part in junior parkrun every week, while our work in social prescribing and on custodial estates makes a real difference to hundreds of individuals. But we're also looking to the future, keeping parkrun free for everyone, forever. This edition of the audio magazine focuses on how you can unlock the power of parkrun, protect it for generations to come, and help the movement truly reach those who may have the most to gain. We're not always well understood as a charity. Many people think parkrun is simply a weekly community event. This year, one of our key communications objectives is to spread the word about what we stand for. The organisation exists simply to make the world a healthier and happier place. Once again, this audio magazine is packed with stories from people whose lives have been changed for the better by parkrun, and there are so many amazing stories to tell, as well as features about real-life parkrunners. In this series, you can find out all about the perfect cup of tea, a subject very close to my heart. We also catch up with keen parkrunner Ben Shepherd, and our very own Dr. Hussein Al-Zubaydi talks us through some hints and tips about making good habits stick. So put the kettle on, find your favourite cuppa, and then, please, sit down and enjoy this edition of the audio magazine.
So today we'll start with a great story about some mother-son bonding. Coyote Damali really wanted to try parkrun, but only if his mum, Enomue, came along too. Now the pair of them have been to parkrun almost 80 times. Let's hear from them.
When she recalls how her son Coyote first tried to get her to come along to parkrun, Enomue Damali laughs. "It went in one ear and out the other," she says. "Then I decided, I know what I'll do. I'll do one parkrun, because then you can't say that I've never tried." That one parkrun back in autumn 2022 was all it took for educational psychologist and children's author Enomue and Coyote, a professional speaker, presenter and contestant from Series 14 of The Apprentice, to become hooked. They've hardly missed a Saturday event since and have carved out a special routine where they always spend time together chatting in the park cafe afterwards. Coyote actually first came across parkrun in 2018 when he was working as a team leader with a group of young people taking part in the National Citizenship Service programme in Crewe. In order to raise some money for charity, the young people did a sponsored walk at Crewe Parkrun. Coyote cheered them round, but hadn't realised that parkruns took place throughout the UK. When he moved back to London, he found his local event at Mountsfield Park, Catford. "We went together the very first time," Enomue remembers. "Coyote ran off, but my interest is in nature, so I had a wonderful time looking at trees and enjoying the sun. To be honest, I was just enjoying the ambience." Enomue and Coyote are now regular volunteers at Catford Park Run. Enomue loves to deliver the first-timers welcome. "My determination is that anybody who comes as a first-timer, I make them feel welcome," she says. I ensure they've got all the information they need, and I always add a bit of humour. That introduction to your first park run is so important. I just want to give people a good experience before they've even put one foot in front of the other. My mum's favourite volunteer role is at the beginning, adds Coyote, but my favourite one's at the end, doing the barcode scanning. He's now known as a bit of an expert with barcodes. His nickname is the Spy. But it isn't the tech side of barcode scanning he enjoys most. I guess the reason I love doing the barcode scanning is because it allows me to meet everyone, he explains. It's just the little conversations. You make relations. The hours after parkrun are a special time for this mother and son, sitting down with a hot chocolate and an oat milk latte. We can be sitting under those trees outside that cafe for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just chatting, says Anomue. Coyote and Anomue have made lots of connections through Catford Parkrun, and they encourage others to come along for the first time. We say to people, no matter what age you are or how fit you are, come along. The tail walker's there, so you'll never be last. It's a win-win. Come to Parkrun and be part of the fun.
What a great way to combine activity with quality time with your mum, or with anyone else in your family. Now it's time for us to visit Wardown Park in Luton, which was once home to a grand family residence, though these days you are more likely to find parkrunners and waterbirds around the lake.
When 2 local councillors bought Wardown Park on behalf of the town of Luton in the early 20th century, would they ever have envisaged a diverse group of 300 parkrunners enjoying the 11 acres of open space every Saturday morning, and another 30 young people doing the same thing every Sunday? Wardown Park is a beautiful town centre park featuring a lake complete with its own small island, a fountain, cricket pitches, and a former family home that's now a museum of Victorian life. The Saturday course is 3.5 clockwise laps of the park, all on asphalt. We start at one end of the park and finish at the other, says co-event director Dave Brown. After the briefing at the bandstand, the parkrun begins near the drinking fountain and follows a loop that includes the lake and the land next to the museum. We go around the lake, explains Saturday co-event director Kate Neal, and the juniors just use one side of it. The lake is home to swans, geese and ducks, and Kate recently spotted egrets for the first time. There's a real spirit of cooperation and camaraderie between the Saturday and junior parkruns that take place in Wardown Park. Lots of the people who come on Sunday with their kids are often people who take part on Saturdays as well, says Sam Whaley, who's co-event director of Wardown Junior Parkrun. Sam is a regular member of the setup team on Saturdays, as well as a volunteer on Sundays. In fact, Wardown Saturday Parkrun recently clocked up its 1,000th different volunteer. Of course, there were cheers all round, although maybe there's more to the story than meets the eye, because there were 3 brand new volunteers on the morning the 1,000 barrier was broken. So a trio of volunteers could theoretically lay claim to the title.
Let's find out more and meet the Wardown Parkrun family.
Claire Warby loves the sense of community, friendship and achievement. Seeing people meet goals, laughter and smiles, doing something simple to me that means a lot to others, she says.
Freddie became the first person to reach 100 parkruns at Wardown Junior Parkrun. The thing I like most about Wardown Junior Parkrun is that it's friendly and it puts me in a good mood because of all the marshals cheering you on, he says. Dave Smith was the first Luton-registered parkrunner to hit the 500 milestone. With its fantastic community, Luton Wardown Parkrun always exudes a magical atmosphere, which I've been hooked on from the inaugural event to this day.
Dr. Amna Hawash agrees it's all about community. It may seem that my transformation from no exercise to completing the London Marathon to now running with twins is a personal achievement, she says. But in fact, it's the triumph of our unrelentingly supportive, lovely Luton Parkrun.
Wardown Park has lots of interesting history. In it, you'll find Wardown House, a Grade 2 listed building that was once a family home. During the First World War, it became a military hospital, and now it's a museum. In fact, the museum contains the UK's largest hat industry and headwear collection. During the early and mid-20th century, People actually used to swim in the lake. The building at the top of the lake, now used by the local Model Boat Society, was once a bathing hut. Wardown Parkrun celebrated its 100,000th finisher on the 6th of January 2024. Chaitanya Mystery came through the finish funnel in position 222. In July 2023, a special Sunflower Saturday parkrun marked Disability Celebration Month. Kate Neal remembers. We had 5 visually impaired parkrunners and a big group from Music 24 who support people with dementia and Alzheimer's.
If you're close to Wardown Park and fancy giving parkrun a try, here's some information about how to find the event. Where are the Saturday and Junior parkruns?
They're both in Wardown Park in Luton, on Old Bedford Road. The postcode is LU2 7HA.
Is Wardown Park on a bus route?
Yes, it is. You can catch Arriva buses 24 and 25 and Centrebus 231. Both these bus companies have websites where you'll find up-to-date timetables. Buses stop outside the entrances to the park on Old Bedford Road and New Bedford Road. From the park gates, it's less than 5 minutes walk to the start areas.
Is it far from Luton town centre?
Not at all. If you're coming on the train, Wardown Park is only 1 kilometre from the railway station. Luton is on the East Midlands line, which connects London St Pancras with the East Midlands, South Yorkshire and the North. The station is also on Thameslink, allowing travel to and from London, Brighton and other destinations in the South East.
Is there somewhere I can leave my bike?
There is. Bikes are usually locked up near the finish funnel.
We're car sharing. Is there parking?
There are 2 car parks at the museum and they're free. There's also road parking nearby.
Where's a good spot to marshal?
On Saturdays, say hello to Claire and Duncan, the husband and wife duo at the bottom of the hill. At Junior Parkrun, high fives are always on offer by the bandstand.
What a great community spirit. And congratulations to Wardown Parkrun, who celebrated their 9th birthday in April 2024. Now, let's head over to Worthing to meet Charlie Stone, who's been documenting her own parkrun journey.
Earlier this year, 26-year-old Charlie made a reel for Parkrun's Instagram about going to her first Saturday event in Worthing. The mini-movie followed Charlie from the first-timers' welcome all the way to the finish funnel. We caught up with Charlie to find out the story behind the video. When I first did parkrun, she told us, I didn't even think I could do it. I would say to anyone who's thinking about it, just give it a go. Like loads of other parkrunners, Charlie's feelings changed as she progressed through the 5K. Sometimes she felt brilliant and at other points questioned why she'd got out of bed. But then when you get to the end, she said, it's actually such a nice achievement and feeling. I would say just showing up is the big part. I know that's so cheesy. Charlie also found she experienced a real boost from the encouragement of the volunteers and spectators. There's no pressure, she explained. It's not a race and there's no pressure to have to excel or be number one. It's welcoming. The marshals are amazing, she added. At Worthing, they've got people making all kinds of noise, bouncing up and down. So Charlie says that even if you're feeling apprehensive, just show up and give parkrun a go. I had very little self-belief in the beginning, but then I realised, oh, actually, okay, this is doable.
There you go. Like Charlie says, it's always worth just showing up and giving it a go. Now let's talk about change. Is there something you'd like to change about your life? Perhaps you want to spend more time with your family, or maybe you need to find a way of managing stresses around work. Would you like to be more active? Make a change to the type of food you regularly eat. Dr. Hussein Al-Zubaydi is a GP who is passionate about helping patients and communities improve their health holistically. With a focus on how small changes to lifestyle can have a huge impact, he's come up with 5 key tips to help your new habits stick. His words are read by an actor. Number 1. Take little steps.
Sometimes, just setting yourself a goal can feel overwhelming. Our behaviours are not always in our control, so we need to learn and to understand what to do to stop making the same mistakes. setting overambitious goals and then really struggling when we don't meet those targets. The first and most important tip for successfully achieving your goal is to break it down. I call it the staircase analogy. Your final goal is at the end of the staircase, but you need to focus on the current step, not the final step. If you're only looking at the final step, you'll trip. Work out what each little step will be and think about how you'll make it happen. By doing that, you'll make what's called a SMART goal. That stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Ask yourself how confident you feel out of 10 that you can achieve your goal. If you're not more confident than 7, make the goal smaller. You'll still have an amazing sense of pride when you do what you set out to do. Celebrate each win.
Number 2, know your cues.
Our habits are all built around cues. These can be environmental, the time of day, images, or even reactions to emotions. For example, if you always associate sitting down in the evening after dinner to watch TV with having a sugary snack, then you'll develop a dopamine circuit based on that cue. The combination of timing, the evening, the environment, being in the living room, and watching TV has set up a pathway. If you do something enough times and it's pleasurable, the brain will then crave it when you're back at that familiar environment. But if you can recognize these cues, you can look at ways to adapt and manipulate them. In our example, you might decide to watch TV before dinner instead of afterwards, or to spend time in a different room if you can.
Number 3, ask yourself why.
It's really important to ask yourself why you want to make this change. If you've decided you want to look like an image you've seen on social media, the new habits you're trying to establish may not last. When push comes to shove and you have a stressful day, you'll just go back to your old habits because, really, you can live without looking that way. Instead, find a meaningful why, something you'll remember when you're in a difficult moment. And bear in mind, you might have a few difficult moments when you're trying to change a habit. Your why is unique to you and may not be the first thing that comes into your head. Take time to reflect and think about the true reason you want to form a new habit. Nothing magical happens once you hit a certain weight or are able to run a specific distance. It's all about the process. Improving your self-esteem and self-confidence by maintaining your new habits. Sometimes just having a discussion with a friend, a loved one, or a healthcare professional will help you to find your why. One that will make you determined to take your first small step.
Number 4, don't stop, start.
What do I mean by this? Well, when I'm talking to patients and friends about their goals, they are so often about no longer eating a certain thing, losing a certain amount of weight, something negative, in other words. I say, instead, pick a positive habit that will naturally push out the negative one. Let me use an example. Instead of saying, I don't want to eat so many biscuits, say, I want to increase the amount of fruit and nuts I have for snacks during the day. I know from personal experience with patients that it's better for the brain to experience a positive reward action. Every time you have fruit and nuts, you feel good about it. And it's easier to have things than to not have them, which helps to build your confidence. Besides, when you tell yourself you can't have something, you'll end up thinking about it 24/7.
Number 5, willpower is not a skill.
There are some days when it's really hard to stick to your new habit, and that's because willpower isn't something you can or can't do. It depends on the circumstances of each individual day. Consider willpower as fuel in your tank. For example, if you're trying to eat more healthily and you start each day with a super healthy breakfast, then have a similar lunch, by the end of the day, your fuel tank will be almost empty and you'll find it hard to eat healthy meals and snacks during the evening. But if you plan your day differently by not going all or nothing and making small changes, you can keep that tank topped up. Think about when you're going to use your willpower to make these positive changes throughout the day. As time goes on, your fuel tank will get bigger. It takes time to increase the capacity. Even after you've toughened your willpower, you might still experience stress and your fuel tank will run low. Willpower is a fuel. Use it wisely.
What brilliantly useful tips. Breaking goals down like that really plays a part in making them easier to achieve and will help to get those healthier habits to stick. And that also brings this episode to an end. Thanks for joining us, and do come back for episode 2, when we will be talking all about how play isn't just about fun. It's really important for childhood development. And we'll be asking the question, when is a running club not a running club? Join us then, and bye for now. Thank you for listening to Parkrun Magazine. We hope you liked the features and enjoyed our simple ways to take steps towards a happier and healthier life. To find out more about your local parkrun event or collect a free copy of the printed magazine, head over to magazine.parkrun.com. Parkrun magazine is created by Parkrun, with the audio version made possible through production by Like the Wind Media and Runcomm. If you enjoyed listening, please remember to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with others. That's all for this episode. We hope you enjoy the next one.